networks are playing it very, very cautiously. You know, they don't want to show any favoritism. In fact, MSNBC announced today they're not even going to declare Barack Obama the winner until after the votes are counted.
To the most politics in the morning, we get our political panel right now of John Avlon, Patricia Murphy, Errol Lewis, Frank Sesno, and Krista Freeland. It'll be an all-out fight to get some words in this morning. Thanks for being with us, and I want to thank all of you. So the conventional wisdom, of course, Jay Leno joked about it, but a lot of people feel that that if we judge by the polls, Barack Obama likely has the easier road to victory. Let's just say that. That's a pretty safe bet. What are some of the things that could happen that would throw conventional wisdom on its head this morning? We'll start with you, John.
Sure. If McCain pulls off Pennsylvania, that flips everything. He really needs that. If Obama wins Virginia, Pennsylvania, and Florida, he's having a good night. If he pulls out Indiana and North Carolina, that's a landslide. Those are the things to look for.
I think if you look at John McCain, if he can do better with women voters than he's been doing the last couple of weeks, he could start to bring those back. They're the majority of voters, women are, and right now Barack Obama has a huge advantage. If McCain can start to scale that back, he'll do better than he's expected to do.
This is also interesting. A lot of pundits are saying that this impossible to quantify X factor is the potency of Barack Obama's ground game, that he's done it differently, and that really it's going to be a new model moving forward. Frank and Errol, I want to ask you both about that. It's impossible to quantify right now, but how is it looking?
Well, certainly it's looking, if you listen to what the Obama people are saying at all levels, the ground organization they've got, the number of field offices they've got. I teach at the university, the number of kids that they're bringing in to get people to show up. Those are the things that we got to look at, because what's on the line for Obama is, do you get these people out to vote, and do they stay there if the lines are 2, 3, 4 hours long?
And some of it is quantifiable. I mean, when you hear that organizers have made, 600,000 phone calls and then backed them up with door-to-door visits, in my radio audience, I've heard from people who say that they've been out from New York to Pennsylvania 4 times in the last month, spending entire days out there. It's really remarkable.
I was speaking to an Obama person out in Colorado. They say they have more than 70 fully staffed field offices. 70 field offices in Colorado alone. That's a remarkable thing.
And we've seen some of the data from early voting, right? So we already have seen that the ground game is changing and that the electoral map has changed because people are voting who haven't voted before.
That's the great news. I mean, we average 50% turnout in America. This election is going to be a historic high.
But the one state that we know doesn't have early voting is Pennsylvania. That is the completely unknown factor right now. Can McCain pull out those voters that were Hillary Clinton voters? That's what they're hoping to do.
And the other interesting thing, I love this, when you talk about how much passion there is to wait in line, if that indeed is the case. In Ohio, one of the Democratic Party chairs is saying, we've hired every juggler, clown, balloon entertainer, and high school marching band in the state of Ohio to keep people waiting in line to vote. And Krista, let me ask you about this. Is there a passion gap with people that are supporting Barack Obama versus McCain? If it turns out that they're waiting in these long lines, will some people turn around and go home?
No, I actually don't think so. When I talk to McCain supporters, I think there are a lot who are also really passionate. And I do think that an interesting thing about this election, and really an inspiring thing, is it is a consequential moment for America and the world. It really matters who America chooses and what the next president does. And I think partly powered by technology, you're seeing a national response.
May I disagree with that this early in the morning? I think there is a passion gap between these two campaigns. I think it's quite obvious. And you look at the crowds and you look at what people say and do when they go and when they come from these things. There's something that Obama has connected with. It's his age, it's his background, it's his biracial character, and it's also having him stand up after the 8 years that the country has been through, the divisive times that we've been through, saying it's not red and blue and all that kind of stuff. It's, the United States of America.
All right.
And it's cliched perhaps for him now, but it seems to be resonating.
See,
and we are going to continue. We have to do
I'm just worried that, because I think if Obama does win, you could find that some of the McCain supporters really find it hard to reconcile themselves to such a profoundly transformed America.
We'll have to see, but I want to thank all of you for being with us. We'll check in with you throughout the morning. Thanks.
Thanks.
The balance of power. Will the Democrats end up controlling both ends of Pennsylvania Avenue, or will a McCain administration be forced to deal with a divided Congress? You're watching the most news in the morning.